as well.
Thanks, Chelsea. This is Annie Dorr. I'm with the Illinois Department of Commerce, and I want to welcome everyone to this United Airlines webinar today. Whenever companies like United Airlines are closing or doing a mass layoff like is happening here, one of the things that they do is notify government officials that the layoff is happening. And that triggers here in Illinois a series of things, one of which is what we call our rapid response team kicks into gear. And we're mandated to get information out to employees who are impacted by the layoffs to provide them with information about the resources and benefits that are available to them because of their layoff. So that's the purpose of us being here today. We're going to take probably the next hour or so. You're going to hear from various members of our rapid response team who will give you information about those resources that are all basically designed with one purpose in mind, and that is to take you from whatever it is that you're doing at United today to whatever it is that you're going to be doing next and kind of ease that transition process for you. So we're going to break this up into about 10 or 15 minute segments. A couple of things I like to mention up front that I think are important to understand about what you're going to hear is that all of the services, with the exception of unemployment insurance benefits, but all the other services that you're going to hear about today are free for you to access at this time. And the reason for that is because you've already paid for them through your tax dollars. It's time to put your tax dollars to work, as they say, with these services. The other thing I like to mention is that for those of you who are here from Illinois, if you pay attention to Illinois news, you know we're operating without a budget right now. The services that you're going to hear about are not impacted by that situation. These are federal dollars. Another reason it's important to note that these are federal dollars is that the services that we're going to talk about are available in every state. So for those of you who may be located out of state, know that these same services are available to you wherever you live. And as we go through this morning, I'll look through and see what states you may be calling in from, and I'll post in the chat pod the contact information for your local provider in your state, a website that you can look up a local office near you. So with that, I think I'm going to introduce, actually I'm not sure, is Kathleen, I don't think she's with us yet, so I'm going to go ahead and move forward and talk a little bit about services available in Illinois through...
Annie?
Yeah.
I believe Kathleen is with us. Kathleen?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you. Okay, great. Terrific. Okay, well then let me introduce Kathleen Brannigan. Kathleen is from the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership. We affectionately call them the Partnership. Kathleen is going to talk to you about services that we're going to kind of focus on Cook County because that's where United is located. But know that if you're in Illinois and you live outside of Cook, again, these services are available to you that Kathleen is going to talk to you about. So with that, let me go ahead and turn it over to Kathleen. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. Good morning again. My name is Kathleen Brannigan. I am with the Chicago Cook Workforce Partnership, or the Partnership, as Annie has presented that. And today we're going to be presenting a WIOA Rapid Response webinar to you. This is a workshop that is focused on informing affected workers who are going through a layoff, which we refer to them as dislocated workers, providing information to people who will be going through this transition. So I'm going to move forward and talk a little bit about the partnership. This grant that provides these programs and services is available. It's a federal grant. It's provided through the Department of Labor. And we facilitate these grants working with our state partner, with the Department of Commerce in the state of Illinois. But it's applicable throughout the United States. So these dollars come down through the states, and then they're distributed to local workforce innovation areas. Cook County handles, the partnership handles all of Cook County, so you can see we're a very big system. This gives you a little bit of information about what's happening here in Cook County. So we oversee the WIOA grant. The important part I'm going to bring out, but we oversee that grant for Cook County, which is approximately $50 million in federal dollars. And we do that through 10 American Job Centers. So these are workforce areas, workforce centers that provide the programs and services. We also have industry sector centers that I'll talk to in a little bit. But we're providing, through this grant, we're providing workforce development services to many, many people, as you can see. It's based on business and employer demand in the area. We work closely with the state and many partners to have current information, to keep our programs current based on what labor market is telling us. So the goal of this webinar today is to provide information and resources to the affected workers who are undergoing a transition. And these programs and services are meant to help them through this transition with the goal of reentering the workforce. Again, these programs and services are available to you at no cost. You've already paid for them through your tax dollars. And many times we go in and provide these workshops to small, medium, large companies. We're very pleased that United Airlines has allowed us to present this information today. Sometimes when there's small little layoffs, people might not know about the workforce, public workforce system until they go through a transition. Many times they know about our public education systems, our public healthcare systems, but they don't know that there's a public workforce system in place with these programs and resources available to them. So again, what is WIOA? WIOA is a program for that provides laid-off worker programs and services for dislocated workers available under the Federal Department of Labor grant. It provides employment assistance, employment placement, and training opportunities. Again, this grant is administered through the State of Illinois Department of Commerce and is facilitated throughout the state. And that would be the same for all states. The states have the authority to administer accordingly. In the state of Illinois, we're broken into the local workforce areas, Cook County being the largest. We refer to the acronym LWIA, and the partnership operates that. So dislocated workers. This is some legal termination, but it provides this information to you. You have already been notified of a layoff, no fault of your own. One thing I like to point out at this point is that you're going to want to get organized at this point. You're going to get a folder, stay organized. The important document that you want to hold on to is the separation notice that you hopefully have now received from United. That will serve as a validation of the layoff, and you'll be bringing that letter with you into the American Job Center when you go in for the orientation to access services. So again, it just validates the layoff and from where, from what employer. So you're going to want to have that letter. I'm not going to read through all of this, but as you can see, again, this is a layoff at, again, no fault of your own. And the WIO grant is meant to help people relaunch, resituate, recalibrate in this transition and access, again, these programs and services that is going to help them reenter the job force. So how does this program help? This program, we operate these services through the American Job Centers. The first level of care is career services. So each American Job Center, any one of us, any taxpayer in Cook County, in the state of Illinois, throughout the nation can access American Job Centers. These centers are available, not just to dislocated workers, but available to all people, all job seekers. And in these centers, you can use computers. We have high-speed internet access. We have fax machines, copiers. There are phones available. All has to be work-related. There's job boards. In some of the centers, there's workshops that you can attend. All kinds of assistance. There's labor market information. There's things you can research. Some of our offices are partnered with the Illinois Department of Employment Security, although that is very limited these days because many of those offices are closing. The unemployment offices are closing, but there are a couple offices that are partnered. But they will have the information with regards to anything, any topic that you're going to be encountering, anything that you're looking into. The important part here is that you want to access these services, and how you do that is through the American Job Centers. You will be accessing or attending an orientation session. We're going to go through the centers, the available centers shortly, but that is the first thing you're going to want to do is identify the American Job Center that you want to go to, find out when their orientations are. You can do that by calling them. All of our centers are similar. They run weekly orientations, and at that orientation they're going to do a much deeper dive. They're going to talk specifics. There is paperwork that is required to be eligible for this program, but again, you're automatically eligible because of the situation, the transition that you're going through and being laid off from United. Again, here's some specifics on what's available to you when you apply for the WIOA grant. The important part when you apply for WIOA is that you'll be eligible to work one-on-one with a career coach. They will be a person who is dedicated to working with you, meeting you where your skill set is, assessing your skill set, working with you on that, identifying those things, those important things that you want to bring out on your resume. Again, you'll be developing a new resume based on those skill sets and based on the work history that you have. A resume is a fluid tool. Many of you probably have one already, but you'll be working with them to bring out the most important things to help present yourself back into the workforce. So that's key. They'll be working with you on an individual employment plan that involves that resume. It involves your next step, what you're interested in doing. So again, you'll have assistance for resume and cover letter assistance. You will have assistance in job search. Many things are different if you have not been in the job market for a while. You will know that things are different. Things are all electronic. There's many things to learn about application tracking systems and how to apply for jobs. And that's very important. Very important to grasp that information and educate yourself so you give yourself the best chance. We have workshops available in all those key things. There's opportunities for interviewing preparation, mock interviews, to have that practice and be best prepared for your next position. Again, there's basic work readiness, anything from A to Z that has to do with getting a job seeker prepared for that next step will be available in the American Job Centers for you. The second level of service is training services. You might find that in that process of working with your one-on-one coach that you realize that you need some additional training to become more marketable. Possibly you're in IT, whatever discipline, but it's important to for all of us to assess where we are in our career and if we have deficits in terms of our training and our marketability as we present ourselves to new employers. Through this WIOA grant, this grant gives you that opportunity to retrain and to add on to your skill set. And what that means is you can go back to school. It's focused on vocational training up to 2 years or less in all the industries. So, if you're in IT, for instance, you can go back and obtain new certifications in new areas, say cybersecurity. There's many hot jobs out there. That is an example of that, but we have training programs in all of the main industries in Cook County, so that's transportation and logistics, that is healthcare, that is IT, retail, hospitality, manufacturing, and business and professional services. So there is just a plethora of training programs out there. You may want to stay in your same industry and focus on adding to certifications and training that will move you forward in your current industry. Or it may be a situation that you've always wanted to, say, for instance, move into healthcare. This could be an opportunity for you. You could turn the chapter and start new and go back to school, say, to become a radiology tech or, go into nursing or what have you. So it's a great opportunity to go back to school to access this training grant. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And again, you can, within Cook County, the training grant allows for up to $8,000. That may differ within the local workforce innovation areas in Illinois as well as throughout the nation. Or possibly, different states focus on different industries. But in Cook County, it's up to $8,000 in those following industries. So that's a great opportunity, and it's something that you're going to want to research right away. And I'm going to talk to an information portal where you can find that information starting today. So I will let you know on that. And that portal is Illinois workNet. Illinois workNet is a workforce development portal that's available to all of us. You can access it as soon as we complete the webinar event today. It's comprehensive. It's very informative. It's available to you 24/7, so we highly recommend that you look into it right away. the important part is that I want to make you aware of is that there is company-specific page. So you go up on Illinois WorkNet, and we have the information available to you. You see right here, find laid off worker resources, and you can access that and then go to the United Company specific page. So all the information will be available to you there. And again, the important part that I want to bring out to you is that the training programs are available there. So you can go up and you can tap into, find resources, find training programs. You can go into the training program module and do research on what's available to you in terms of training. It's very, very comprehensive. This team that we work with, Chelsea Jones, who's hosting today, has done a tremendous job in providing all the information there in terms of training programs, where you can train, what school, what that school is going to cost, what that curriculum looks like. And you can also go in and do research on labor market information on that particular occupation and find out what the job prospects are, what the salary and wages look like in a particular town, a particular county, throughout the state, other states. So it's a great tool. You're really going to want to utilize this tool as you go through this transition. Again, here's some information on the Illinois WorkNet tool. So here is the website. Here is the layoff assistance guide, and this provides different information for you. So I'll also point out that all the information that we talk about today is available on this site as well. So it's a great tool to utilize as you move through and get prepared for your next job. It provides a tool to find an American Job Center near you. So it'll say find resource center near you, and you can narrow your results, or you can narrow your search by by zip code, and it will pull up that job center near you. I covered all of the information that we provide in terms of the WIOA grant and the programs and services that are available to you. I hope that you have found this informative. The pod chat's going to be up, so if you have any questions for me directly, please feel free to chat away, and I'll get back with you. But I would like to wish you the best of luck. I encourage you all to access a job center, the location finder, as soon as possible. You're entitled to access these programs and services right away, since you've been notified of this transition, this separation. So we encourage you to do that. And we wish you the best of luck in your job search, and hope that we see you in the American Job Center soon. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Kathleen. This is Annie again. We're going to switch gears a little bit. That was more on the job prep and the job search activities that are available to you that are going to get you to your next step. We also want to talk about things that you are likely concerned about facing a job layoff, and that has to do with your employee benefits, such as health care coverage, retirement benefits. And here to do that is Lisa Sromek. Lisa is from the U.S. Department of Labor, from an agency called the Employee Benefits Security Administration, and she'll talk to us about that. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. As Annie introduced me, my name is Lisa Sromek, and I work as a benefits advisor out of the Chicago Regional Office for the U.S. Department of Labor Employee Benefits Security Administration, or EBSA for short. EBSA enforces ERISA, or the Employee Retirement Income Security Act of 1974, which offers protections for both health and retirement plans. Even though we are an enforcement agency, a significant part of our mission includes education and outreach to employees about their benefit plan rights under ERISA and other related federal laws, including COBRA and HIPAA. Since job loss affects benefits, today's presentation will provide an overview of the applicable provisions to assist you in making the best possible choices with respect to your health and retirement. We'll begin with health coverage and end with retirement benefit reminders. There are several options to consider for health coverage. In the next slides, we'll go over different options, including COBRA, HIPAA special enrollment rights, and rights to individual coverage, which may be purchased through the federal marketplace or independently, as well as other programs for government-sponsored health coverage. HIPAA, or the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of 1996, provides you with special rights following involuntary loss of your health coverage, such as following a layoff. A provision of HIPAA called special enrollment allows someone who qualifies for a spouse's employer's plan but previously declined coverage under that plan to enroll outside of the open enrollment period when there is a loss of coverage or a life event such as a new dependent through marriage, birth, or adoption. Special enrollment can be a cost-effective alternative to COBRA if the other employer-sponsored plan, such as a spouse's employer's plan or a parent's employer's plan if you are younger than age 26, if that plan shares the cost of the health insurance premiums for active employees and dependents. That is what can make it more cost-effective. Special enrollment requests may be required in writing, so be sure to check with the employer to understand the plan's requirements. Coverage under the plan must take effect no later than the first of the month after the request is made, so even though you have 30 days to notify, remember to request special enrollment prior to the start of the coming month if possible to avoid a possible longer break in coverage. COBRA is often used in conversation as a plan of insurance or a type of coverage, but it is a law which was passed in 1986 and it applies to employers with 20 or more full-time employees. Following a loss of coverage eligibility due to your layoff, the COBRA law allows you to continue coverage under the same employer group health plan offered to active employees on a month-by-month basis for up to 18 months at your own cost. Because COBRA is a direct continuation of the same plan you had as an active employee, everything about the coverage stays the same, including the proof of insurance card that you carry in your wallet, doctor or provider network, and any progress you've made towards an annual deductible. COBRA allows independent elections, so if your employer offers separate plans for medical, dental, and vision coverage, you can elect to continue just the medical, but not dental, or vice versa. I mentioned that COBRA can last for up to 18 months, but you should know that it may end sooner. For instance, if the employer ends the group plan or shuts down operations completely. In such cases, there may be no plan left in existence to continue under COBRA. Assuming that the plan is left in place, the one thing that can and usually does change with COBRA is the cost you are used to paying for the coverage. If the employer covered a portion of the premium for active employees and deducted the rest from your paycheck, under COBRA they can now pass along both the employee's cost and the employer's cost, plus a 2% administrative fee. But remember, there are ways to reduce the cost through independent elections. Just as you can continue a dental plan but not the vision plan, if you have family coverage, you may choose to continue coverage for just one family member rather than the whole family, and the amount that you pay will depend on what you elect. You will receive a notice in the mail with all the information you need to decide about continuing coverage under COBRA, including the monthly cost and where to send the payments, and this notice will arrive within 44 days. This COBRA election notice packet will either have the return address of your employer if they administer COBRA in-house, or the return address of a third party that they've hired to take care of compliance for them. This is usually a payroll service company such as ADP or a specialized COBRA service provider such as COBRA Source. You will have 60 days to respond about electing COBRA, starting from the later of the date that your active employee benefits ended or the date of the notice. If you don't want COBRA, you can just let your 60 days to decide run out. You cannot be required to send payment with your election, and if you do elect COBRA, you will have 45 days to make your initial payment. So depending on how long all of this takes, you could end up owing for something like 3 months of coverage up front. Going forward, your monthly payment amount is usually due by the first of the month in which you will receive the coverage, but it is considered within grace period if your payment is received within the 30 days of that same month. Keep in mind that the sooner you elect and pay for COBRA, the sooner your benefits will show as active again. Because of the administrative time delay involved with sending the notice and the time you have to make your decision, your coverage may show as temporarily canceled until your payment is received and posted. However, COBRA is the only coverage option that will cover you back to the date that active benefits ended, leaving you with no break in coverage, and any other new plan that you sign up for will only cover you going forward from the date of enrollment. There are two final considerations that I'd like to bring up about COBRA. If you find yourself in the situation where before you've had a chance to elect and pay, you end up in the emergency room or at a doctor's office, what you can do is to discuss the fact with your doctor that you're in the process of electing COBRA and ask if they can hold off on billing your insurance until it shows up as active again. This will usually be enough to save any headaches for yourself and for the doctor, because they can avoid billing the coverage and getting the response that you're not covered or your coverage is inactive, and then you can avoid receiving any kind of invoices for payment. The other thing that you can keep in mind as far as transitioning between jobs, because I know that that's everyone's end goal here, is that you should keep in mind the election time frames and payment time frames and possibly use that to your advantage. Let's say you are interviewing for a job and you're not really sure if it's going to take effect and when your new employer's coverage will take effect. And you have the 60 days to respond about COBRA and then the 45 days to make your first payment. You can kind of stretch that time for yourself if you send back the notice by day 59 or something like that. And then if you don't end up needing the coverage, you don't send in the payment, and there's no obligation. They can't come after you for the payment. Your coverage will simply remain canceled to whatever date it ended for you as an active employee at United Airlines. But if you do end up needing the coverage, you can simply take the 45 days to pay, and then your coverage goes back in effect retroactively to the day that it left off. And so be aware of that. And of course, being so fresh off of tax day, another thing I'll mention is that since we're all concerned about avoiding the shared responsibility tax that the IRS can impose for not having health coverage in effect, you should be aware that there are a couple of exemptions listed on the IRS website, irs.gov/ACA for Affordable Care Act. And one of those exemptions happens to be that if you have a break in coverage between two plans of 60 days or less, you will not be taxed for those months. So that's another thing to keep in mind, and of course COBRA is a great way to fill in the gaps in between any kind of plans of coverage. Even though COBRA is often considered to be expensive, the cost is based off of a group plan rate. However, you may want to research what an individual policy, which can be sold to you directly through an insurance company based on your individual rating for age and gender, would cost, and then compare this to COBRA. Another alternative we still have available is shopping for individual coverage through the Federal Health Insurance Marketplace, also still sometimes called Obamacare. People who purchase individual coverage through the marketplace benefit from a screening process that automatically evaluates you for financial need-based coverage provided through the state, such as CHIP or Medicaid, or for premium assistance or tax credits to help offset the cost of marketplace plans and make them more affordable in that way. Also, know that losing your job-based health coverage is a special enrollment event which allows you to enroll in a marketplace plan outside of open enrollment period, which is usually mid-November through mid-February for the marketplace. To qualify for marketplace special enrollment, you must select a plan either within 60 days before losing your job-based coverage or within 60 days after losing your job-based coverage. You should keep any documentation of your current coverage and effective dates, as you may need it when you request special enrollment in a marketplace plan. If you sign up by the 15th of the month, you will have coverage by the 1st of the following month. Otherwise, you may have a 1-month waiting period before your coverage takes effect on the 1st of the following month. To learn more about the available options for marketplace, medical and dental plans, and which providers are in network for these plans, you may visit healthcare.gov, or you can call toll-free 1-800-318-2596 and speak directly with a health insurance navigator. Another program you will automatically be screened for in contacting the federal marketplace or visiting healthcare.gov is CHIP, which is free or low-cost health coverage administered by your state from Medicaid or the Children's Health Insurance Program. You can enroll any time of year, and if you qualify for these financial need-based options, your coverage begins immediately. These programs cover parents and pregnant women in addition to children. Each state, however, has its own rules and qualifying guidelines, and you can learn more about what's offered through your state at the website www.insurekidsnow.gov or by calling 877-543-7669. And before we leave the topic of health insurance, are there any questions? If not, then I'll continue on to the retirement plan reminders portion. So finally, we'd like to offer some brief but important retirement plan reminders. Regardless of the type of plan that your employer sponsors, it is a great idea to keep your address updated with the plan if you move, so you can continue to receive plan mailings and the plan knows how to find you when it comes time to pay benefits. Normal retirement age for full benefits is usually age 65, but different plans offer different options. And just like health plans, retirement plans must be administered according to written rules. If you don't already have a copy or you've misplaced or don't remember receiving one, you may want to ask your human resources or benefits person for a copy of the written rules. The formal name for this document is an SPD, or Summary Plan Description. And so again, depending on the type of plan that you may have, they kind of fall into two categories. Defined benefit pension is the one category. It's more like a traditional pension where the benefits are actually calculated for you using a formula that takes into account the number of years of service and the age at which you retire. You do not contribute to this type of plan. It's fully funded by your employer. And the other type of plan, which is more common these days, is called a defined contribution plan. And an example of this is a 401k and profit sharing plan. And with this type of plan, you absolutely do have an account in your own name. You are contributing voluntarily through the 401k portion, and then the employer is matching or contributing a profit sharing as well. And all of that money ends up in your account. Particularly with this kind of a plan, if you don't remember to update your address with it, the plan, if you happen to move to accept another job or something like that, you will unfortunately end up not receiving any benefit statements, and then you kind of lose track of that money. So if you want to avoid that, it's not possible to take the money early in general with a traditional pension, but with a 401k, usually after you terminate employment, it is possible to roll the money over either into a personal IRA or individual retirement account that you open with a bank directly, or you can roll it over into your new employer's plan if that's allowed. And of course, it may be possible to get a distribution or cash out of your 401k as well if you're notified by your plan what your options are, or if it says that in the summary plan description. Keep in mind, though, that if you are under age 59 and a half with a 401k, in addition to paying tax on a distribution, you'll also be charged an additional 10% tax penalty because that is a retirement plan account. So the safest thing to do, and if possible at all, to save yourself some money is to keep that money in some form of retirement plan. And finally, I'd like to provide everyone with some contact information because we do take phone calls directly from the public about questions that they have concerning their benefit rights or any problems or issues they may be having. In fact, we do hear a lot from people later in life who have not kept their address updated, or for whatever reason they've lost track of their employer's retirement plan, and now they're looking for help getting back in touch with it now that they're at retirement age. So we do field a lot of calls like that, and we also take inquiries by website at askebsa.dol.gov. We're available at a toll-free number, 866-444-3272, Monday through Friday, and we generally try to answer calls as soon as possible, but in any case, no later than the following business day, you'll receive a call back from us. And the PDF of the brochure, which covers the information discussed today, is available on our website under the publications section, as well as available for download from the files pod of the webcast. So if there aren't any questions, I would just like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for their attention and wish everyone good luck.
Okay, this is Annie again. Lisa, if I could ask you, there's a little chat going on in the chat pod with Francine and Gina, some questions regarding COBRA coverage, and I'm wondering, I don't know if you had an opportunity to see them when you were speaking, if there's anything over there that you could address, and then also just like to point out to Francine and Gina and Eva the phone number that Lisa has just read out and then that's up on the screen. If you have any questions or concerns after you contact United, I would definitely call that 866 number if you have questions.
Absolutely. So it sounds like in the conversation someone had a last day of employment, but their coverage was maybe funded by United Airlines through a later date. And sometimes that can happen under severance or just as a way to kind of soften the blow for a layoff. And so I didn't really discuss it in detail because it sounds like everyone's situations may be unique, and I wouldn't want to convey the idea that you have coverage through a certain date if your situation might differ from someone else's. However, like Annie said, please do contact our toll-free telephone number, and if you can't get any confirmation from United Airlines about your last day of coverage, then definitely call my office and we can help facilitate the communication and get that clarification for you. Similarly, if you don't receive a COBRA election notice in the mail and it's been 44 days since your last day of benefits, you can call our office and we can make sure that you get a copy of that notice. The reason it's not usually too late at that point is because you do get 60 days to elect, and so 60 days is longer than 44 days either way. Even if something got lost in the mail or something like that, it usually should be no problem for them to send another copy of the notice out. But if you need help getting through to the right department at United Airlines, since it's such a large company, or anything like that, we're certainly happy to help and get involved.
Okay, great. Thank you, Lisa. We are going to switch gears once again and talk a little bit about unemployment insurance benefits. You may know a little bit about that already. Here to do that is Booker Cunningham. Booker is from the Illinois Department of Employment Security, which is the agency here in Illinois that administers unemployment benefits, along with a lot of other things that they do. So go ahead, Booker.
Good morning, everyone. Again, my name is Booker Cunningham, and I'm with the Illinois Department of Employment Security. And the first thing I like to say is unemployment insurance is a state-administered program designed to provide workers with financial assistance during temporary periods of involuntary unemployment or underemployment. And what we're going to be discussing this morning is unemployment insurance, when and where to file, information needed to file your claim, what happens next, and then switch over to employment services, recruitment events and workshops, resource rooms, IllinoisJobLink.com, career information systems and virtual LMI, labor market information, local office and workforce center locations. Now, the best time to file your claim is on the week after you've been separated from your employer. And the best way to file is to go online, www.ids.illinois.gov, and that's available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Now, if you should have problems or any information that you may need, you can call our claimant services. The call centers, 1-800-244-5631, and their hours are from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m., excluding weekends and holidays. And if you'd like to locate your local office, www.ids.illinois.gov, go through pages and office locator. If you should have to go into your office, if you don't have access to a computer, you can go into one of our local offices and you can use the computers there and get assistance at the same time. Now, the information that you're going to need is you're going to create a password, a user ID and a password. You'll need an email address and verification of your Social Security number, a valid Social Security card, a driver's license, or state ID. They're going to ask you some questions on there. You'll need the last 18 months of employment history, pension, retirement, Social Security, or student information. You need to select the type of payment that you're going to receive, whether it be direct deposit or debit card. Dependent information, if you're going to claim a child or a spouse, you're going to need their Social Security information as well. Now, once you file, you're going to get a letter that's called a UI finding. And on that letter will be your weekly benefit amount, the amount that you're going to be collecting in unemployment insurance benefits. And you're going to need to certify. It's what commonly is called a certification. You're going to do that every 2 weeks, starting with the date and day on the letter. It's commonly called a request to be paid. And you can do that 2 ways. You can do that online, www.ids.illinois.gov, or you can do it by phone. And that number, 1-312-338-4337. And their hours are from 5 a.m. to 7:30 in the evening, Monday through Friday. You're going to be paid biweekly. The first week of the claim is a non-paid waiting week. You'll be certifying for 2 weeks, but however, that first payment will just be for 1 week. Also, if you're working part-time, you're going to need to keep your hours, the amount of money, not hours, but the dollar amount, because if you are working, it's going to ask you that question, and you'll need to enter the amount of money that you earn for a particular week. You need to be able to report if you're able and available and actively looking for work. And also, you'll need to keep a record of places that you did look for work. Again, if you have any questions about that, you can call our claimant services number at 1-800-244-5631. Now, finding a job takes time, so it's a good thing that if you get out there and start looking as soon as you possibly can. I don't know if you've been employed for quite some time. It has changed out there. It's not as simple as maybe you did some time ago, just went in and filled out an application. So what we do in conjunction with our partners is what we try to do is to try to ease that process for you. And we have events, hiring on-site recruitments, and just job fairs. We have reemployment workshops, the Illinois Job Link, which I'll talk about later. And IDS, Illinois Department of Employment Security, we co-host our partner workshops, the Workforce Investment Opportunity Act. We offer classes and assistance in resume writing, job readiness training workshops, and also partner referrals to training and retraining programs as well. Now, in addition to that, we also have veteran services programs, Hire the Future, Reentry Employment Service Program, RESP, and resources for people with disabilities. Now, if you would want to visit one of our resources room, they have facilities there and helpful staff that can help you in using the computers, fax machines, copy machines, scanning capabilities, and printers as well. And feel free to come in. You can find out where the nearest one, again, on our website there. In addition, once you do register, you'll be getting information coming to you about certain events. And this is a sample of a letter, the way it would look, and it's all free. Won't cost you anything. But with the Illinois Job Link, that's www.illinois, spelled completely out, joblink.com. And in addition to that, since July of this year, it's required that you register with the Illinois Job Link. Otherwise, no benefits will be dispensed to you. So for that reason alone is enough to make you register with the Illinois Job Link. On there, you can create or upload multiple resumes. You receive email notifications about hiring events, job fairs, workshops, and job referrals. And when you do a job search, it's automatically saved into the system as opposed to before when we were using paper documentation. So the Illinois job links are a very good thing. And at any given time, we have 100,000 jobs in the system. And you can go in there and do a job search, and they'll try to match you with a job according to the resume that you have in the system. You can tag preferred employers to receive job referrals, and employers, by the same token, they use the same system to find qualified candidates. And you can get real-time labor market information as well. Now, with the career information systems, you can explore hundreds of occupations, find information on non-traditional employment, career assessments to help identify career interests, research colleges and training programs. You can identify almost 3,000 resources of financial aid. Some of you still would like to continue your education, so that's a good thing there. Additionally, we have virtual labor market information and occupational wage data. We have employment projections through the year of 2024 and unemployment rates and additional information of related statistics for different positions throughout the country. So it's a good thing to have. Now, we have several locations. As stated, local offices are being closed throughout the state, but there still are many that may be close to you, or either they're at the our workforce centers. We usually do have a person there on duty at the regular hours from 8:30 to 5 that will assist you with your unemployment claims, or perhaps you receive some letter that you may need explaining. So you can get that information on our website there, and which office may be close to you that can assist you with whatever you might need at that particular time. So don't hesitate to get in there, or either call our call center there who can answer questions as well. Now, is there anyone with any questions? Hello? Anyone there?
Booker?
Yes.
It looks like there might have been a couple of questions, or some people are typing some questions in the chat pod. So this is Annie. We'll give them a few minutes to finish typing those questions, and we'll address those. Just a point of information, I think Chelsea put in the chat pod earlier a link to the United Airlines landing page on our IllinoisWorkNet.com portal. A recording of this webinar will be available on that landing page shortly. So if you have coworkers who were unable to join us today, they can certainly have access to this information through that recording. There are also links to a lot of other resources on that page. So you can watch a video about getting assistance with a mortgage, and how to access services in your local area, and all kinds of other things, as well as all of the handouts that are in our document pod this morning to download. So unless there are, we'll stick around and answer any further questions in the chat pod. Otherwise, I guess, Chelsea, you can certainly wrap us up. I just want to say to everyone, thank you for joining us today on behalf of the Rapid Response Team here in Cook County, Illinois. We wish you the best of luck. Certainly understand a job layoff is one of the most stressful things a person can go through in their life. And if you got nothing else out of today's session, I hope that you got the feeling that you're not in this process alone. There are a lot of resources out there to help you through this transition. Thanks, everyone.
Booker, we did have a couple of questions that came in. Wendy indicated she's having an issue with United responding to her Workforce Commission for unemployment benefits. They have to verify severance payments and they're not responding. Is there anything she can do with that?
Did she really receive any type of correspondence, a letter of any sort? Because, hello?
She's typing now.
Because severance pay does not affect your claim. It's a gift from your employer. You don't have to declare that. I don't know if that helps her.
She said she did receive a letter.
Right. Well, hang on to it because many times employers want to say that that it was earnings as opposed to severance. And if it clearly states on that letter that it is severance, it will not affect your claim. You can file that claim right away. You don't have to declare it. It's not going to ask you about severance pay or anything like that.
Okay. Wendy, since you are in Texas, I'd also recommend you reach out to the workforce services in Texas. I believe Annie listed those resources in the chat pod earlier. If you scroll back up to the top, I believe she listed the phone and or website. And they might have also more specific information specifically for Texas as well. Booker, the next question asked, how long is unemployment for?
The benefits in the state of Illinois are for 26 weeks, 6 months of benefits.
Okay. The next question said, I filed for unemployment benefits 2 weeks after I was laid off, and I received my letter from unemployment with all the information I needed. And then 2 days later, I received a letter stating that I was not eligible because they said I was an active employee and I would be receiving a letter of explanation. And to this date, nothing has been received. My active employment date ended yesterday.
I'm not sure. They're saying that she was not eligible.
Yes.
I would need more information on that for the reason why they would say that, because I'm assuming she has worked there for over a year and she had earnings.
This is Annie. I'm sorry. I'm wondering if the confusion is perhaps because, and I'm not sure if I'm understanding this correctly, but you really had no job duties after February 15th, even though the company was keeping you on the payroll during that period after February 15th. It sounds like up through April 30th. And so sometimes the confusion comes in is that if you're earning wages during that period of time, the company believes, well, we're paying you, so you are an active employee and therefore wouldn't be receiving unemployment insurance benefits until April 30th, which we're saying is your last day. In other words, the company has paid you wages in lieu of that 60-day notice. And sometimes that gets confusing for people, and I'm wondering if that's the situation here. Certainly what I would do is you're going to want to file that claim, and I know that Booker on one of his previous slides had put up an 888 number for questions for claimant services. And if you have trouble, there you go, you're going to want to call them. But I think that may be the confusion, is that last day of employment, was it February 15th or April 30th? And so I would, again, encourage you to contact the Illinois Department of Employment Security, and they will track that down for you. There's the Claimant Services call center number, that 800 number.
Thanks, Annie. The last question I see so far that hasn't been addressed, Booker, is someone asked let me find it again. Can you claim children that are over 18 but still in school?
No, you wouldn't be. They would have to be under 18. Yeah, even though
Okay.
they're still in school, they would have to be under 18.
Well, thank you very much, everyone, for attending today. Please check the page link that I posted for Illinois WorkNet, and we will post this recording so you can reference it for anything that you missed or in case you need to rewatch any parts of this. We will also post all of the presentations. And thank you very much to Annie and all of our presenters for providing this information. It's been very informative. And good luck to everyone, and we hope you all have a great day.